Hi guys, welcome back. Today we'll be taking a look at C Limited as well as some of its Chinese stocks. So before we begin, remember take a second to give the video a like and subscribe as you really help our channel. Without further ado, let's take a look at C. So as you can see, C Limited from a recent high of 136.43 to a recent low of 54.06. The Fibonacci resistance at 85.53 at 38.2% was actually very difficult to break through, and we couldn't even test this $90 psychological resistance. So that was not really a good sign. You can see that there was some selling here, and also it turned out to be a resistance as well for once and twice. So it seems like a triple or double top here. And thereafter, we started to pull back down after hitting a high of 89.92. So we couldn't test this 50% at $90, and we started to break down. So looking at its supports right now, we are actually looking at this 38.2% at 67.76, and thereafter potentially testing this 62.52. As of now, you can see that this candle here is holding towards this red base line at 71.99, and is barely holding it. So if we see more selling pressure today, we're likely to head towards this 67.76 and even 62.52. And if these two supports were to break down, including the $60 psychological support, then it's likely for us to be looking towards this 54.06 and perhaps even trending down even lower after this 54.06 if we were to break down this $50 psychological support level. So it's important for us to hold these two support levels and even the $60 psychological support. So let's move on to Xpeng. So Xpeng yesterday was down 7% as well, similar to C. So from its recent high of 1830, from a recent low of 1835 to a recent high of 3156, you can see that there was a resistance at 2873, and we actually couldn't cross this 2873, even though we crossed this 61% at 2651. We hit a high of 2776, and at the same time, it coincides with the cloud resistance, and we couldn't punch out of this cloud resistance. So that's it. We started to pull back down. So the support to watch will be this 61.8% at 24.17. Unfortunately, just yesterday we broke it, and we even closed below it. So the next support to watch will be this red baseline, which is at 23.05. Coincides with this 50% at 23.06. And if we just pull back lower, then 21.94 and even 20.57. If we start to break down this $20 psychological support here, then we're looking towards 18.35. Probably retesting the lows or even creating a new low. As of now, you can see that this is a low here, this is a higher low. So the question is not whether or not we will be creating a higher low here as well. So if we do not start creating a higher low, then unfortunately the trend will start to break down. So let's move on to Futu holdings. So Futu also down 7% just yesterday. You can clearly see that we break through this last resistance at 78 at 46.36, but we couldn't test the $50 psychological resistance. We hit a high of 48.15 and started to pull back down with bearish looking candles. So the supports to watch out for, you can see that this blue conversion line is really starting to not hold at 41.72. We close at 41.51. So the next supports we'll be looking at is 40.01, 37.49, and 34.98. The 50% at this 37.49 coincides with this red baseline as well. So this will act as a good and quite a solid support. But that said, if we were to start breaking that down, then we may be heading towards these cloud support levels at around $31 to $34. And ideally, this $26 shouldn't be tested nor even break down. That will be good for Futu holdings. So let's look at TIGR. So TIGR, it's as you can see, there's more selling pressure, and the Fibonacci already started to break down a lot more compared to Futu holdings. So you can clearly see that 61.8% at 553 was not tested. We hit a high of 540. So long as this 61.8% do not break above it, then we will continue to remain bearish. And we may be creating a new low, considering the fact that we started to drop so fast. So let's take a look at the Fibonacci supports. So on this particular day here, after it announced perhaps its earnings, you saw this very bearish looking candle. It broke through both its conversion line and baseline, so that is not a good sign at all. And the very next day, we started to gap down. So there was this gap created here. So this gap for now, it's around the high of 478, 412 rather, to a high of 395. So that's around 17 cents gap that needs to be closed one day. So the next supports will be watching will be 359 and 303 as well. If we start to break down this 303, then it's likely for us to go back to retest this low of 268, which was happening sometime in earlier March. So we shall see if there's any more selling pressure today, and we shall see if the stocks can be continue its momentum up, or perhaps a reversal soon for the upcoming days in the trading sessions of the week. So if there's any changes, I'll give you guys an update. Thanks for stopping by. Till we meet again, appreciate the manipulation.